why not start 2009 off with a bang? But what would be an appropriate topic for us to get into at this point in the new year? Let me think. Oh yes, it's that time again. Time for all the state representatives and senators in Texas to flock to Austin for another session. And while the politicians are in the Capitol for the 81st session, getting a whole lot of nothing done, I figured I would talk to the people of Austin about some of the hot-button issues. Issues that most of those politicians would not touch with a 10-foot pole. So here it is, Austin. Let's start with an easy one and work our way up, shall we? First issue, Second Amendment. What do you think?
I do support the Second Amendment.
Well, I'm against guns, but I don't know if I'm against people owning guns for whatever reason.
I don't believe in that at all.
I do believe that we should have the right to defend ourselves and bear arms if we choose to.
I'm from Texas, so I support the Second Amendment.
Honestly, don't know what that is.
The Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, you know what? As liberal as I come across and as I feel socially, I'm pretty strong about it. However, I do think that certain weapons, like military weapons, I think those things should be kept out of the hands of the average Joe, so to speak.
You know, if the Second Amendment was taken away, the only people left with guns would be using them illegally, and so basically it'd be the bad guys would be the ones left with guns.
We should have the right to bear arms if we want to, if we think it's necessary, and there's all kinds of rules and regulations in place, county, state, and so forth. All the checkpoints that you're supposed to go through and should go through.
Personally, no, because people use guns off emotions a lot of times, and that's how you take lives.
Well, I know it's kind of cliche to say this, but I do believe in the philosophy that if the government takes away the good people's guns, then the only people that would have guns are the bad people, and we'd have no way to protect ourselves.
I think that possessing guns helps cut down the crime because every person has a right to protect their household and their personal possessions.
All in all, they should probably just ban that, to be honest.
Everything should be local. That's what this country was founded on. I don't know why people want to change it. My God, you know. It's been working fine for a long time now. Leave it alone. Leave me alone.
And I don't want the government taking away that right of the Second Amendment.
Protect the peeps. Other than that, I'm telling you, leave us alone, man. Get away.
I want to hear from a politician on this, one that's going to tell me how they really feel. What does Ron Paul think?
There's no room in this country for the confiscation of guns, and therefore I don't like the idea of registering guns or registering the ammunition. And this is what people are fearful of with the new administration. They're very fearful that guns and ammunition will be very much more regulated. The Second Amendment is very clear, but I think it's a national amendment. The federal government can't regulate the ownership of guns. And to me, it should have, the founders obviously thought owning guns were very important to add that in, because it should have been recognized that if you own property, gun is a piece of property. You're allowed to own a knife. A knife is a dangerous weapon, but they really looked at guns and thought that self-defense was very, very important, so that was an added benefit. But in a way, if you live in a free society, you have a right to own weapons. Property, you have a right to own weapons. Under our system, it is designed where states could have something to say about some regulation. I mean, we don't allow 8-year-olds to drive cars, so kids with guns when they're 10 years old, you know, shooting up the place, obviously they're not protected under the Second Amendment. I'm optimistic, though. I think the American people have high regard for the Second Amendment. They are not going to give up their guns easily. And more so today, it looks like they want to buy more guns, not less guns. It doesn't mean that there can't be some good common sense used about who carries guns, but again, that would be a state issue. You know, if you have the state buildings in Austin, there's nothing in the Constitution that says that the state of Austin, the state of Texas, can't regulate how guns are being used in state office buildings. But, you know, basically most people have recognized that the recent ruling on the D.C. Gun bill has been very beneficial, but there are others now who are digging into it. There may be some loopholes in there that will actually backfire on gun ownership, and it's a very technical argument.
Well, there you go. Now you know how Ron Paul feels about the Second Amendment. but I want to know what more of you think about this topic. So here's your chance to get involved, people. Go to KLRU.org/docubloggers. And yes, I am actually asking you what you think. And I might even use some of your comments in our next piece. I want to hear from you. We will hear more from Ron Paul and some other hot button issues, and more from the peeps as well next time.
Become a Docublogger. Log on to docubloggers.org to share your opinions and story ideas, or get out your camera and create your own docublog.